Tonight, 6 additional COVID-19 fatalities recorded in the last 24 hours, taking deaths to 820, while 101 new cases were recorded, taking the overall total of cases now to 46,922. Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce says the BPO industry is on the way to its pre-COVID-19 peak. Still tonight, double murder rocks the quiet community of Barracks in Manchester, Portland, following the discovery of 2 bodies there early this morning. And private security guard employed to Guardsmen Limited brought up on assault charges for allegedly beating a female vendor at the Charles Gordon Market last Friday night. Good evening. Jamaica has recorded 6 additional COVID-19 fatalities, taking the total of persons who have died to 820. The deceased persons are a 63-year-old male from Portland, 2 females from St. James aged 52 and 76 years, a 98-year-old male from Westmoreland, and 2 females from Westmoreland aged 79 and 102 years. Now, 1 additional case has been recorded as a coincidental death, increasing that total to 123, while 1 more fatality is under investigation, moving that figure to 132. Meanwhile, there were 101 new cases ranging in age from 6 months to 88 years, taking the total of cases now to 46,922, of which 23,121 are active. Of the new cases, 51 are females and 50 are males. St. Catherine dominates the new cases with 30, followed by Kingston and St. Andrew with 15 cases. In the meantime, there were 119 additional recoveries, increasing the total of recovered persons now to 22,636. 175 persons are in hospital, 5 of whom are moderately ill and 14 of whom are critically ill. In other news tonight, a double murder has rocked the quiet community of Barracks in Manchester, Portland, following the discovery of 2 bodies early this morning. The deceased have been identified as 55-year-old Linval Lindsay and his wife, Annette Gibson Lindsay. Linval's body was found lying on a roadway near the couple's premises, while the woman was discovered inside their 1-bedroom wooden dwelling with multiple chop wounds to the face. The police are theorizing that the husband may have attempted to flee his attackers, but was chased and shot multiple times. The gruesome killing reportedly occurred at approximately 2:30 a.m. We go to news from Trelawney now, as the police there have charged 62-year-old Steneth Wilson, otherwise called Uncle, of Clarkstown with murder following the fatal chopping of his common-law wife at their home on Saturday, May 8. Reports from the Clarkstown police coming into our news center this evening are that at approximately 11:30 p.m., Wilson and his common-law wife, 29-year-old Nikisha Keeling, otherwise called Galgal, got into an argument. The argument reportedly escalated into a fight, during which Wilson used a knife and a machete to inflict several wounds to the woman's body. Wilson then turned himself into the police and he was charged after he allegedly confessed. His court date is being finalized. We go to news from St. Catherine now, as 2 brothers were arrested following the seizure of a firearm in Thetford District, Old Harbour on May 10. Reports from the Old Harbour Police coming into our news center tonight are that at approximately 9:20 p.m., a team of officers were on patrol in the area when they observed two men walking along the roadway. The men were reportedly acting in a manner that aroused their suspicions. They were accosted and searched, and one of the men was found to be in possession of a para-ordnance P12 .45 pistol with an empty magazine affixed. The men were subsequently arrested. Their identities are being withheld pending further investigations. In news from St. James, a private security guard employed to Guardsmen Limited, who was stationed at the Charles Gordon Market, has been brought up on assault charges for allegedly beating a female vendor at the market last Friday night. Reports coming into our news center are that the vendor, Pauline Higgins, who resides at Duckett's Road, Cambridge, was at the market sometime after 10 p.m. when she was approached by the guard, who informed her that it was time to leave the market. It is further alleged that the security guard later returned to the location and allegedly hit Higgins with a piece of board, causing swelling to sections of her lower body. The vendor's relatives were called, and upon their arrival, she was taken to the Freeport police station, where a report was made, and also to the doctor, where she received a medical certificate. The security guard turned himself over to the police on Monday, where he was charged and is to appear in the St. James Parish Court on June 9. As we continue with the news tonight, the St. Andrew Police have confirmed that they have recovered two licensed firearms owned by businessman Robert Fletcher, who was gunned down by three men posing as customers while at a bar and restaurant that he operated along Old Hope Road. Following the businessman's murder, the lawmen, with the help of fire personnel, conducted a search operation at the location, where they retrieved a licensed shotgun and a 9mm pistol. The police have also not yet released the identities of the two gunmen who were fatally shot along Trafalgar Road minutes after they robbed and murdered the popular businessman. A third man has been taken into custody in connection with the incident. It is also reported that an illegal weapon was seized at the scene of the shooting. Still making Mello TV news tonight. State Minister in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Robert Morgan, has reported that an organizational review of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, has revealed the need for 150 additional social workers. Now, this is expected to form part of the restructuring of the CPFSA, says Morgan. He said ground is expected to be broken for the new facility in the coming weeks, which will cost the government $120 million. Morgan said the goal is to not only have children confined to a child care facility, but also to have outpatient setups. The state minister said more social workers on board means greater access to help for children in need. He added that the government is aiming to create a cultural and institutional shift in how it intervenes in the lives of children. In other news tonight, the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPO, is encouraging citizens to familiarize themselves with the dangers of intellectual property IP crimes, such as the distribution, manufacturing, and sale of counterfeit items. Deputy Director and Legal Counsel at JIPO, Dr. Marcus Goff, said the use of counterfeit products not only robs IP owners of profits, but can pose serious health risks. He was addressing a recent webinar on IP enforcement hosted by JIPO in recognition of IP Week. Dr. Goff said that JIPO sees IP as an important part of the economy. He says JIPO's role is to create an environment for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises MSMEs to thrive through the protection of their intellectual property. According to a representative from the European Union Intellectual Property Office, the top counterfeited items over the last 4 years include clothing, shoes, cosmetics, perfumes, and cigarettes, noting that lately there has been an increase in counterfeit drugs. And those are some of the stories making news. We will return with other stories as Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, the Honorable Audley Shaw, says the business process outsourcing BPO industry is on the way to returning to its pre-coronavirus COVID-19 peak. And the Jamaica Promotions Corporation, JAMPRO, will continue to facilitate investment in tourism during the new financial year. But first, we'll go to a break and then join Christopher Scott with the latest in sports.